handsome. How's your day?
Okay. What about yours?
It's okay. Just working on a project with this podcast. What's going on?
Oh, nothing.
So you want
Just
to do
another day in prison, man.
another day in prison. So you want to do a podcast interviewing your wife today, right?
Yeah. I
What?
don't mind asking you a few questions.
Okay. I hope the questions ain't, you know.
I got a few. It's not too many.
All right. So this episode is my husband asking me some questions, I guess, about being a wife and a prison wife. All right, babe, go ahead.
Okay. What is it like for you being married to someone that's incarcerated?
It's different. I never saw myself dating or even being married to someone in prison. It's like my better half is miles away, but it's like you're here with me every day still. So I enjoy being married to you. I feel that I was blessed with a good husband, and it's a journey. It's a different journey I have to get used to. I had to get used to. At first I was skeptical, I was hesitant, but at the end, I'm glad I did take this journey to be a wife.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that, babe. Okay.
Oh.
The next question is due to the fact that a lot of prisoners are housed like in prisons that's far from their families. How do you feel that? How do you feel when it comes to you having to drive a long distance to come see me every weekend? Like, what is that experience like
Well, for
for you?
us, our distance isn't that far. You're only like 2.5 hours away. So it's kind of exciting because the night before I get my clothes laid out, I'm happy to come see you. It's like I get my playlist together for this freeway ride, and like I'm just driving the 2.5 hours thinking about you walking through that door with that smile on your face. And I know that when you guys get visits, that's like everything. So it's not bad for me because our journey, because our distance isn't that far. So I don't have a problem coming driving to see you. The only thing is the way back in the traffic. I don't like. But
Okay.
that's keeping it real.
Okay. So when you do come see me on weekends, how do you feel when you and I are out there and we really don't see too many other African American family members out there supporting their loved ones coming to see them?
I kind of feel, I feel some type of way because black people, African Americans, like there is a lot of African American men and women in prison, and like without that support, it's kind of hard for them to transition out when they do come home and to keep their head above waters while they're in prison. Like I feel, you know, we talk about this all the time. Like, damn, babe, we the only African American couple out here this weekend, or we might see one person other besides ourselves out there. And I just feel like this needs to be addressed. Like African Americans need to actually be more supportive to a loved one that's actually locked down.
Okay. So when it comes to me, for its change, you knew me before I was incarcerated when I was a teenager. And you know who I am now today as a man. Can you tell me some of the things that you feel like? Can you tell me how I have changed or how I've matured since the last time you seen me when I was free?
First and foremost, I know that you've changed a lot. I know that you're more mature. I know that you're more educated. I see that you make wise decisions now, even with us in our situation, in our marriage. Like sometimes I sit back and just look at you like he's really a man now. And I feel that you take your life more serious. Like you don't do things to get you in trouble in prison. Like with all the stuff that's going on there, you don't engage in any violence, any type of activities that's gonna get you in trouble. So I feel that you've been in prison all these years, you became the man you are today, a loyal man, honest man, an educated man, and I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you, babe.
You're welcome, Sugar.
Okay, now, when it comes to the laws, do you feel that African Americans and Hispanics and other minorities get treated differently than white?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Due to the fact that I'm in the California prison system and I'm up under the California laws, how do you feel about the harsh sentences that they handed out to us?
I feel African Americans and Hispanic, and they do, because when I go visit you, that's 95% of the inmates that come out are African Americans or Latinos. I feel that they give you guys different laws than they give white Americans. That's just the truth. Like, I don't feel that you should have got sentenced to 25 to life and nobody's life was taken. You was a kid. That was your first offense. Like, I know a lot of Hispanic men are in there for the same crime and getting life in prison versus a white man may go in there. He might plead sanity, which we see on the news daily. People going to shoot up schools and they plead sanity and they don't even get half of the time the African American or Hispanic man get. So I do think the laws are different when it comes to minorities in the prison system.
Okay. As a wife, having a husband in prison, I know it's days out there where or nights, I should say, where you're lonely and you wish that I was there. Could you kind of give me, from your own perspective on how you feel, knowing that I'm incarcerated and I can't be there with you on a consistent basis?
Well, I'm not going to lie. Like, some days it's hard. Like, if I had a rough day, like, I want to come home and I want my husband to be like, babe, it's going to be okay. I got you. Or hold me, or we talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nights I sit up and just think about our future and what our future holds and how we will be together and how I will have you telling me it's going to be okay and have my back. And it's not easy. Like, it's not. And a lot of people may look at it like, oh, she's stupid and being faithful and loyal. But when we got married under the oath of God, and I took it seriously. So, I just know our future is going to be great. I know God has something planned for us. So if I can't sacrifice this little time to wait on you, like, what was the reason I got married to you if I didn't fully want to commit to you and wait for you? So, at the end of the day, I just sit back and contemplate on when you come home, how much we're going to have fun, how much, we're going to be traveling, how much we're going to accomplish together as a couple. So the future is what keeps me going when I get lonely. And the way you love your wife. I love the way you love your wife. Like I was saying on our last podcast, I prayed specifically for what I wanted in a husband, and he gave me everything I wanted in a husband with you. The only thing I didn't ask for was you to be in prison. So, I feel like
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I feel like waiting for you is not even, it's nothing to do. Like, I could do this with my eyes closed if I had to. So, yeah.
And what about your family? Like, how do they feel about you being married to a man that's in prison?
So at first,
many of them don't know.
So at first, when we first started talking, as you know, I had lied to my mother and said that you were working overseas on a ship. And when I used to come back from visiting with the pictures, and she'll be like, "Oh, let me see the picture." She'll be like, "Why does Clayton keep having that blue shirt on?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's the outfit he has to wear to work." But when we became serious and we decided to get married, I came clean with my mom. I was like, "Mom, he's in prison." And she was like, "Okay." She was like, "I knew something wasn't right." And from this day forward, my mother loves her son-in-law. She accepts you. She's not judging. My sister accepts you. She loves you. My other family, accepts it. So at the end of the day, I did have some family members that probably was against it or probably, had something negative to say. But overall, My family is supportive of us. They love you and they love me. So I think at the end of the day, it's what matters to us, not everybody else. But my family is supportive, and like my mother say, everybody makes mistakes, and who are we to judge? So I think at the end of the day, my mother was my biggest person I was afraid of that would not accept the relationship. But my mom is all for it, and she loved her son-in-law Clayton.
Okay. So, my mom, she really adore you. She loves you. She feel like God brought you into her life. She's very grateful to have you. Even though I'm not there, what is it like for you to be able to have that type of relationship with your mother-in-law, even though I'm not around? Like, do that give you some sense of, me being there, a part of me, just getting to know her and being around her, and also my family?
Well, it does. Back to prayer. When I prayed, that was one of my requests when I prayed, to be close with my in-laws, because as you know, in my first marriage, I didn't get along with my in-laws at all. My mother-in-law, sister-in-law, none of them. And right now, I love my mother-in-law. Like, she be like, Tish Clayton, we talk on a consistent basis almost every day. Me and your sisters are close, your brother, your uncles, your grandma Katie, Blondie. It's like, when I'm around them, I feel a sense of I'm around you. Like, this is part of you. And for me to be your wife, I feel that that's important for me to be close to your family. Like, and I'm probably sure they feel the same way, because I'm your wife. So I'm part of you. So I love the way how they love me. They accept me. And, I just love it all together. And your mother is very, 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 very sweet. Like, you have the best mother in the world to me. Like, your mom is loyal, she holds you down, and at the end of the day, I feel to have a successful marriage, you have to have a good relationship with the in-laws, because that's part of that person. Like, my family is part of me, and your family is part of you. Like, without that, it'll bring conflict in a marriage. So I'm grateful to have a second family that loves me and I love them.
Okay, so when you and I got married, after the marriage, what do you think about the conjugal visit? Us being able to consummate our marriage, the experience of being together. How did you feel about that?
So, for people that don't know, once you get married, you are allowed conjugal visits. So it's usually a 4 or 5 month wait. But my husband was already getting family visits with his brother. So maybe, what was it, babe, 3 weeks or a month after we got married, we got a conjugal visit?
Yes.
So my husband kept saying, babe, get the package and submit the paperwork. We about to have a conjugal visit. I'm like, no, babe, it's like a 3 or 4 month wait. Long and behold, I went up there. I talked to the visiting sergeant. He was like, yeah, your family visit is approved. Mind you, me and my husband never had sexual intercourse. It's been 20 years since we've actually kissed or anything like that. So me driving to the prison and knowing I'm about to spend the weekend with my husband, I was nervous. I was really, 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 really nervous. But I feel that
you have 60 seconds remaining.
I feel that is the best thing the prisons could do, is give a conjugal visit to a wife and a husband. I loved it. It was amazing. Oh, our phone call is about to end, sugar.
I'm glad I got to interview you.
Oh, I love you, babe.
I love you too. And, I'm trying to call you tomorrow.
All right, be safe.
Hey.
Have a good
All
night.
right.
Love you.
Okay.
Bye.
I love you.
Bye. So we thought it'll be a little bit different if he's interviewed me. We switch it up a little bit. And I thought that went a little bit cool. It was different for me. I just want to tell everybody thank you so much for subscribing to my page. I'm having more interviews, more people coming on. The next interview is actually going to be a husband and a wife. He's currently incarcerated. And the interview after that, I have a wife who wants to remain anonymous because she does have some juicy details she wants to share with you guys. So I want to first say thank you so much for watching my page. Always like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe, please. I'm trying to get this across everybody's social media that has a loved one locked up. So I think this is going to be a great platform where people could come, talk, give advice, give support, and also just give some knowledge for people who may not know or may not understand what goes on behind the prison walls. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, subscribe. Peace.